Hello, welcome to Lemon Series, where we talk movies, television, and wrestling. I'm, of course, Lemon himself, Zeke Lemon, and this is my review for Friday Night SmackDown. But before we get into that, let's get the housekeeping out of the way. So to leave a like, comment below, let me know your thoughts on Friday Night SmackDown, and of course, hit that subscribe button as that helps me grow to my YouTube career. I would greatly appreciate it. Now, all that out of the way, let's get into it, shall we? I spoke that much faster than what I typically do. But yeah, I thought this was another very good episode of Friday Night SmackDown. I thought all the matches were pretty decent. For the most part, I think the story beats for what we had to do was really good. I mean, my only main criticism really is really that comes in within the later half of the episode. It's when Bronson Reed and Cody Rhodes have their interaction, right? And they talk. And Paul Heyman goads Cody Rhodes into a match. And then goads him into a title match. And, you know, Cody Rhodes versus Bronson Reed, I'm all for that program. And in fact, I honestly think if you do that program, Bronson Reed should win. Because, again, he pinned Roman Reigns in a one-on-one match. Not many people can say that. And I think there is a story there, you know, as the last two people to pin... Yeah, in one-on-one action, I think the last two people to pin Roman Reigns in a one-on-one setting. Yeah, you could really build a title program around that for sure. But as soon as it was announced, my immediate thought was DQ finish. And we were going to get the reveal of whoever the fourth member is. And now there was going to be like 3 different choices there for me personally. I thought it would have been an Aleister Black. I thought Drew McIntyre was filming. I know I heard the rumor that he wasn't really filming. This was just part of the storyline. But I thought he was going to film the movie. I just wasn't going to believe that report. Boy, was I wrong. And then, of course, there was Brock Lesnar as well, because, you know, when he was like, I could sign anyone from any brand in any capacity. And Nick was like, yes, you can do that. Now, why did you fly over here? I feel like this could have been an email. It was to get Drew McIntyre out of the suspension role, and then so he could be in the War Games match. So now we have the 4 and the 4. We did have Jimmy get announced to be on Team Good Guys for that for the War Games match. I don't know if he stays. Because I don't expect Roman to come back until Survivor Series itself. I do still think Cena is going to join the Good Guy team. Now, the only other thing I can think of is that he is just going to have another match to himself for someone who is eliminated within the first round of the tournament, which I don't know. But again, I still think deep down that Cena's going to join the Good Guy team, and Roman will be on the Good Guy team. I think they're going to run an angle where Jimmy gets hurt and he goes off television. I don't know. Well, Naomi's not that far along within her pregnancy, but I do think Jimmy's going to take some time off relatively pretty soon, right? And I don't know if this is the time frame for it, but yeah, I don't think Jimmy is going to stay in. I think he is a placeholder for now. If he stays in, I wouldn't be mad at it. And if Cena is to do something else minus War Games, that's cool too. Again, I'm not against it whatsoever, but I do think we have an opportunity for this super mega Good Guy team. And I just don't know how else you could get Roman to convince Roman to join the Good Guy team. Because one, he's mad at the Usos. He doesn't want to talk to them until Christmas, right? Which he is sticking to that word. He has not shown back up. I really thought he would be back on programming by now. But he still loves them deep down, right? And he has no care to help out CM Punk. They hate each other, right? And, you know, him and Cody, they have their history, but they have a fine respect for each other. And then, you know, the bad guys, he already dealt with, well, I guess he would like to get Bronson Reed back, and, you know, they have that one last one-on-one match. And, yeah, he hates Braun Breaker, too, but, you know, it was all about Seth Rollins. So why? Like, why would he want to go fight them? Oh, they beat up his cousin, Jimmy, and he's hurt really, really bad. Jay makes the phone call because right now I know he's not thinking, oh, Roman's not even going to speak to me. Okay, no, we really need to help. Let me try to make the phone call. Maybe get Cody involved there too. So yeah, but as soon as the match was announced, we get to it. The match is good for the most part, right? It is whatever. But you already knew, like I was just sitting there waiting like, okay, who's going to come in to cause the wreckage? And sure enough, it was Braun Breaker doing a spear from out of nowhere. I don't even think the match went into a commercial break before all of this started happening. Maybe there was one. Or it was the entrances, when the commercial came back, they were fighting, and then the interference started to happen, and then whole smosh, yeah, that's what it's called, right? It happens, Usos come out, 4-on-3. Punk couldn't be bothered to show up on SmackDown. And now here we are. We got the 4 for the good guys. We got the 4 for the bad guys. As of now, they each need to get one more person. I do think Brock Lesnar is the 5th guy for it. I know there's a rumor that's going to be Austin Theory. I personally don't see why. Or you get Aleister Black and you get Damian Priest. And if you are not to have Roman Reigns in the War Games match with how the field is right now. But we will wait and see. But yeah, that's the only qualm that I have with this episode of SmackDown. Everything else, I think we did what we needed to do. I actually like the women's opening quite a bit. It was a little awkward, but I like how they played into that a little bit. Like, that was all by design. Charlotte coming out, doing her little entrance. I mean, she even took a little bit longer. And because now I'm thinking about it within hindsight, I'm like, yeah, Charlotte was kind of acting weird before she got in that ring. And then like, yeah, we're going to team up. We're going to do everything so good. And I completely... I don't know why this completely left my mind. I forgot about the history of Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair because Charlotte goes, I can't do this. I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, I don't trust her. And then as soon as she pointed at Rhea, I was like, oh, yeah. And I was like, oh, I actually really did appreciate that quite a bit from them, for them having the back and forth. Now, does Charlotte stay off the team? No. She's going to join back in some way, shape, or form. I mean, we had the whole beat up angle afterwards where they showed up, beat them up, 4-on-3. Charlotte's going to be like, okay, Lexi, I will help you. Her and Rhea are going to need to have a conversation some way, shape, or form. But yeah, I'm liking the story beats that we are having. And we also got guaranteed that the women's will stay 5-on-5 because I know we did one year what it was 4-on-4. But yeah, we will do the 5-on-5 because like now we need to recruit 2 people for our team while they only need to recruit 1. I assume we get that on Monday. But yeah, that segment was also pretty good too. Ilya versus not Fraxium, just Axiom. It was a really good match. That DDT spot when he jumped, he did a moonsault, landed into a DDT and DDT'd him. That was really, really cool. I really did enjoy that spot. Ilya getting the win. At some point, we do need to get to the Tommaso Ciampa match. I actually don't know why he is deliberately not accepting Tommaso Ciampa whatsoever. And Ilya is going to come off really in a different light if Tommaso Ciampa does get this match, because he is going to get it at some point and then he wins, right? I think we're running a very thin line rope, because on the other side, Tommaso Ciampa does get the match and he doesn't win, then yeah, he does look like a jackass, right? So I don't know. The way that we're going about it is interesting. I do want to see that match, but the way that the story is being portrayed by both characters, losing just really hurts the other one, which means it's stakes. And I do like stakes within my wrestling matches. But, these open challenges are supposed to be like, okay, whoever comes out is going to get the match. And then now we're kind of going away from that a little bit. Now Ilya is going to select and choose his opponents. I know Sami Zayn did that for a little bit, but yeah, I have to sit on it a little bit more. But I am enjoying the program overall. And, it's one of the highlights of the evening. As for our Women's United States Championship, we were supposed to have a celebration. That got cut, and now it's going to be moved to next week. Hopefully she does get the pyro, and hopefully we just get a feud immediately. I don't care if it's Julia again. I don't care if we get someone new within there. Maybe a returning Tiffany Stratton goes after that, but I do think Tiffany does need to go back after Jade when she does come back, especially with how we're booking Jade, which we are doing a fantastic job of. But yeah, Women's U.S. title, still kind of nerve-wracking because, again, we had no plans for it, and who knows what we're going to do for that celebration next week. But, again, just give us a damn story, right? But, yeah, Jade Cargill, great stuff there, short and sweet. B-Fab got a little bit of offense in, and then Jade just kind of demolished her. Again, really much enjoy that. This is how you're supposed to book Jade Cargill. Less is more with her. As we progress, maybe we do get some longer matches depending on the quality of her opponent. No offense to B-Fab. Again, I'm a huge fan of B-Fab. And, I assume we're going to do Jade Cargill versus Michin again. Or depending on how long Tiffany Stratton is, maybe this is the first program for Jade Cargill. Michin is going to have tried to talk to Jade. And then Jade's like, no, girl, bye, get out of my face because I am that bitch. Because she even said that afterwards, too. Now, okay, now we're going to have to fight maybe at the PLE. Or maybe well, you can't do that Saturday night's main event because that Saturday night's main event is going to be main roster versus. But, first title defense, Michin versus Jade Cargill. I wouldn't be against that. Then Tiffany comes out to make the save or whatever. there's a lot of fun to be had there. But yeah, keep this short presentation for Jade. She thrives under this. Yeah, sure, every once in a while, let's give her a long match, but we don't need to do that every single week, right? Now, there is a little bit of nervousness as we head into the new year because we are expected to go back to 3 hours for SmackDown. Now, if y'all recall me last year around this time, I thought the 3 hour SmackDowns was a great idea. I thought, yeah, we can really explore the roster a little bit more. We're adding these new titles. There's more times to be given here. I mean, you know, like Damian Priest and Aleister Black feud, right? With 3 hours, you can actually make that feud consistent week to week to week to week because you have a whole 60 minutes to fill, right? Or, you know, you take out commercials, maybe 30 minutes. You have an extra 30 minutes to fill time with that so that it's not so stop and go on that feud for Aleister Black and Damian Priest, the women's U.S. title. You can give more time to it, or even though you already should have been given it more time for it, you can expose the roster a little bit more throughout Miz and Carmelo Hayes feud as well. That's another one that's stop and go. With 3 hours, you have the benefit of doing that. The problem is, because again, at the time, I was all for it, but seeing an execution, it failed. It didn't work because instead of giving the time to new, fresher faces and to these stories that we have been building, we just stretched out what we were going to do on a 2 hour show so much that it just really ran thin. Like on a 3 hour show, the Women's War Games segment that kicked off the show. Very good. It was like a good solid 5 to 10 minutes. I guarantee you, 3 hours, that goes 20. And it runs very thin and it's more awkward than it really needed to be. Now, you can give more wrestling time for the matches. Jey Uso versus Miz, I thought arguably was the best match on the card next to Ilya and Axiom. You know, we got Zack Ryder returning as well. Matt Cardona returning as Zack Ryder with LA Knight. He also has merch on the store too, so maybe he got signed. I'm not quite sure on that yet. The LA Knight and Zack Ryder match to me was more about the moment than it was the match. They didn't really mesh well for me personally, but glad LA Knight got the win. Jey Uso got the win. Again, I really like the Jey Uso versus Miz match, and I'm happy to see that a lot of people online admitted, yeah, that match was actually pretty good because a lot of people don't like those two for some reason. I enjoy them quite a bit. But yeah, I thought they did pretty good with that. With 3 hours, you can give even more time to that, and so that, yes, you can have more of a connection like we did with LA Knight and Zack Ryder to build that chemistry up a little bit more. And then, of course, Miz and Jey Uso could have even longer, greater match with that too. But again, it's just going to be really interesting to see. Hopefully they learned when we go back to 3 hours in January. I wonder why. I don't know if it's a Road to WrestleMania thing or what. But yeah, we did it for the whole Road to WrestleMania. Then we did it for a couple weeks after, and then it stopped and went back to 2. And, you know, they never really found their footing again. Again, I think a draft is very much needed to just restart the whole entire rosters. Again, I'm all for, you know, a draft every other year. But yeah, we just need to really lock in the brand split. It's gone now. And honestly, better for it. Again, this SmackDown to me was even better than last week's. And that's because of the fresh stars and the fresh new faces that we are able to establish into it. For the most part, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky on the show. You know, we had the Vision on there. So, yeah, again, overall, really liked it. I'm really nervous about the future because, again, as someone who was a defender of the 3 hour SmackDowns and then seeing execution, it just didn't work. As long as they learn their mistakes and we do use it to actually branch out the roster as opposed to, okay, the people that we know people love, we are going to stretch them very, very thin, and it really hurts the product that way. Again, make those stories more consistent with like a Damian Priest versus Aleister Black feud, a Miz versus Carmelo Hayes feud. Establish your titles, right? The women's U.S. title. We need to elevate that a little bit more. Hopefully a 3 hour SmackDown does get that. But yeah, overall, this episode of SmackDown was good. I had fun with it. Let me know what y'all think about it down in the comment section. Leave a like if you made it this far within a review. I do greatly appreciate it. Hit the subscribe button as I am trying to grow into my YouTube career. And don't forget to squeeze the days, guys, because life is too short not to give you all. So squeeze every opportunity that you can. Until next time, I'll see you here at Lemon Studios.